All right, everybody, welcome back to another Trainer React. I'm going to look at a couple of videos, let you know what I think. As always, try to give you some training insights as well. Just drop a comment below what you think about these videos, and we'll get right into it.
I'm playing with you. Stop.
Looks like we got a guy holding a dog by his harness.
Sit. Down. Stop. Boy, I ain't playing. Down.
Man, he horny, man.
Holy cow, dude. This dude's getting
He
frustrated.
horny, man.
Down. Now quit.
You gotta get him a girlfriend, man. He horny.
Stop.
Oh, we back on your leg.
This dog right here is going ham on this dude's leg.
Man. That's a horny service, dog.
Dog's licking his lips.
He found one and he. And she.
Dog's going for the leg again. Dude's got stuff falling all over the place. He's like at a gas station or a convenience store or something.
Come here. Sit. Sit. Stop. Damn, boy.
Looks like the dude's done some kind of training because he's like moving the dog into a somewhat of a heel position.
What if I had a seizure right now? You ain't even focused on nothing.
He's
getting
just
some.
talking nonsense to the dog.
It's free though.
So we got this guy trying to check out at the convenience store or the gas station, wherever he is, and the dog first tried to latch onto the dude's leg, humping the leg, which generally means two things. First of all, it could mean dominance in that situation. The dog's trying to, exert some level of dominance over the guy. The second thing is there could be something that has sensually aroused the dog, and then the leg is the thing closest to the dog that the dog grabs onto. This guy has done some kind of training because he's got this, we call it a hands-free leash. He's got the leash wrapped around his body and attached to the dog. He's got a harness on the dog. That doesn't mean you've done training, but I'm just saying he's got a harness on the dog. And it looks like he's trying to communicate, but he's getting frustrated. He's grabbing the dog, shoving the dog down, trying to tell the dog to down throughout the whole interaction. Dog's not listening. Dog keeps coming back, trying to get onto his leg until eventually trying to get to the part where he does it. But the guy grabs his leash and he moves in a way that indicates that he knows something about dog training. He's worked with somebody or seen something or has done some dog training with the way that he moves with the leash. Right, I think it's about to happen right here. Let's just give it 1 second. The bag falls over. He's holding the dog's head. The dog does it again. Right here, he grabs the leash. And then he kind of, pulls up on the leash when the dog's on his left side as if he was trying to put the dog into a heel. But the rest of his interaction is not ideal, pushing on the dog, grabbing his head, all that kind of stuff. So this dog, what I would do before I start taking it out into town would be, a full training progression where it knows the obedience, it knows e-collar conditioning, and then I would start ramping up my distraction levels, starting at a low or an easy distraction area and slowly work my way up to a higher distraction area with my e-collar conditioning done so I can use it to communicate. That way, if this is happening, I'm not, tussling with the dog, rolling around with the dog, trying to get the dog to stop. If you had e-collar conditioning done and the dog knew how to downstay, for example, you could say down, stay. If the dog's not doing that, you say no, give a bump on the e-collar, modify your levels on the e-collar as needed to communicate to the dog at the lowest, most effective level possible to get the dog to maintain their downstay. So that's what I would do. But I do get it. Sometimes you think you're kind of let's say this guy was doing that. Sometimes you feel like you're ahead of yourself, you're ready to go out into town with your dog, or you feel like the dog's good enough to go out into town before you finish your training progression, and then something like this happens and you're just, making a fool of yourself. So yeah, we got a tough situation here.
Hello.
Dude's out hiking.
Hello. Hello.
Out hiking on, I don't know if it was a public place. I think he said he's hiking across Georgia, the country, in Armenia. They have a real dog problem. So far, I've had 3 really scary encounters and countless encounters with solo dogs. I did not intend for this to go viral. What do I do? So basically this guy is hiking. I think it's like a public place, but then it's close to a ranch or a herder. There's a herder up here. And he gets surrounded by the herding dogs. So the livestock guardian dogs run up on this guy and they encircle him like we're seeing in the video. They run up, they start surrounding the guy. Tails are up. Tails are up and wagging. That's not a good sign for this hiker, because the dogs are aroused. They're feeling confident about themselves. Obviously, they're really good livestock guardian dogs because they're doing a good job. Some of them are backing away a little bit as he kind of waves a stick at them. So, there's a little bit of nervousness there, but, they're doing a good job of holding him where he's at from a livestock guardian dog perspective. If you're the hiker, this is a real problem. And this guy's doing a relatively, some of the dogs are running up at him and he's whapping them with his stick, which is a good thing to do. Looks like there's a little bit of a drop off to his left here. Maybe that's like 6 feet, 8 feet, something like that, drop off. So he's really on the edge of this drop off as these dogs have run up on him. But with what he's got available, you're out in the middle of nowhere, you're hiking. I'd be yelling for the herder to call his dogs back, which eventually he does at the end of the video. But this dude was surrounded for a minute. If one of these dogs got a hold of the guy and took him to the ground, the other dogs would be right on top of him, and this dude would have some serious damage done to him. So he did a good job of kind of holding the line here. He's got his back to the drop-off. He's using his walking or hiking stick to hit the dogs and keep them away from him. One bit his pole, tried to get to him, but he's doing a good job of keeping them at bay until the herder shows up. So you can't really do much better than what this guy's doing right here in this situation. But if you start getting surrounded by a dog, you better be thinking real quick about what you're going to do. The other thing I would do if you're surrounded by a group of dogs like this, try to find the ringleader. If you can find the ringleader dog that all the other dogs are following, that's the dog you focus on making sure they don't get in close to you, right? If you can stop that dog, the other dogs will maintain distance. So luckily it worked out good for this guy, but this is a crazy interaction, something to think about. And we know in a lot of neighborhoods, at least in the United States right now, there is a problem with off-leash dogs just running up at people. We get questions all the time. We get phone calls all the time about people asking what to do with these off-leash dog situations. So, this is a real thing you have to think about.
Sorry. No. No. No.
Dog.
Good girl.
And a horse. Horse is walking. Dogs are kind of running back and forth.
No. No.
Okay, good.
No. No.
A lot of horses.
No. Sorry. No.
Uh-huh.
No, Josie. Go. Go, go, go. Good job. Good job.
I think this is a important video for people to see because it looks like this is a dog trainer. And from my perspective, they're doing a good job, right? They've got this off-leash pitty they're probably training. They're on a hiking trail area, it seems like, and there's horses on the trail. And the pitty's very aroused. You can see the pitty with its tail up, tail wagging, so it's confident, it's dominant, it's aroused. I think in the caption she says it's like previously reactive or something, or tried to lunge at the horses the day before. But what we see in the video, this dog is on an e-collar. What we see in the video is the dog get corrected and gives verbal feedback from the e-collar. But in this situation, you might have to do that. If you use a quality e-collar from a quality manufacturer, you're not going to hurt your dog even if they give you verbal feedback like that. If you use a cheaper one, it may or may not. A cheaper one is not ideal. You want to use a quality e-collar. But if your dog gives you verbal feedback with a quality e-collar, you're not going to be hurting your dog. You're going to be making sure your dog is learning, right? So the dog is going up to the horses or was going up to the horses. A horse can kick a dog and kill a dog, right? So if I got my e-collar on the dog and the dog keeps getting close to the horse and the trainer did a good job throughout the video that we saw, she's saying no. She's probably giving lower level communication, lower level stems to the dog throughout the video to help the dog move away from the horses, right? But when the dog showed the behavior of moving directly to the horses again, what she's most likely doing is ramping up her level really slowly. And then when the dog starts running, you know, you might have to ramp it up really quick, especially if you're really close to some horses. And so that's when you typically get that verbal feedback. The dog did the right thing by coming back to the trainer and then moving along its merry way in a calmer mindset, you know, leaving the horses alone, which is showing you that the dog is learning appropriately through that correction. So do we like when dogs give verbal feedback from corrections? No, we don't like that. Would we like to use a lower correction level to where the dog doesn't give feedback, verbal feedback? Yes, we would. Is that always possible? No. When you are in a emergency situation or a dangerous situation, and this is potentially dangerous, a horse, like I said, could kill a dog with one kick. You know, having the dog give me verbal feedback is better than the dog getting into a situation where they get seriously seriously injured or even killed, right? So just keep that in mind. So this trainer did a great job.
She's very friendly.
Oh shit, I see what's going on here. POV, your service dog gets seated next to a service dog. So this is a good example of how many fake service dogs are out there, right? Versus real service dogs. Your dog's got to be well trained, well behaved. This other service dog with the service dog vest on it and everything, no boundaries to the other dogs, no boundaries to the people. Can't maintain a downstay during the flight. Not good to go, right? So if you got a service dog, you got to make sure it's properly trained. That's part of your duties as having a service dog. And if you say you have a service dog and don't have one or don't need one, that's not right either. You know, that kind of degrades the people that really have service dogs and need them. It degrades their ability to do things with their dog. All right, moving on.
We saw another dog off leash passing by. Saga immediately checks in to see if I'm gonna put her in a heel.
Off
I
leash
don't,
walking.
She decides to engage.
Oh,
Obviously, I call her into a heel so we could go on our way. As we're walking away, something seemed a little off, and then I realized I actually had two dogs in the heel, not one. I immediately stopped to give the other gentleman a chance to catch up so he could put his dog on leash. As soon as he puts his dog on a leash, I call Saga back into a heel. The moral of the story is I almost went home with a doodle.
His dog is super friendly. Both dogs are very friendly. At first, the doodle was kind of thrown off by the dog running at it, like wanting to play, but then it got kind of into the mood and then wanted to go home with him, so that was funny. But just this is the way to do it, right? So if you're hiking off leash and your dog is going, goes up to another dog to play and the other dog runs away like we just saw, do the respectful thing, call your dog back to you, call him in the heel position, because obviously that other dog wasn't comfortable with that. So good to go. That's good training right there. Then the doodle wanted to go with him. Then the owner had to come over and get the doodle on a leash and all that. So good times, good times. Super nice pity right there. All right, well, that's all we got today. Again, drop it in the comments below what you guys are thinking based on these videos. And probably the number one thing to take away from this video is proper e-collar training. We've done a full tutorial on e-collar training on our channel. So just click this video right here and I'll see you in the video and teach you how to use the e-collar properly.